Hi folks, this is Danny at Bradley James Classic Cars, and this is a video that's being made for Bradley James Projects, which is a company of ours which sells all of the trade-ins and classic cars that we decide not to retail, and that's usually due to the fact, like in this case, it's been traded in or it's something which isn't in our stock profile. And even though if this was a mint condition W200 Mercedes S-Class from the year 2000, I believe, it certainly would be. However, this is an excellent opportunity for someone to buy this car for a bargain price, put the work in to make it fully beautiful again. Now, we did allow what we're selling the car for, basically, and this was retrieved from a gentleman's garage, and he had bought the car and operated the car and loved the car, and when he bought one of our classics, and part of the deal was taking this car away, which we did. And when we first had the car, it was down in Wales, and it was actually driven back to our base on tray plates, and it drove from South Wales to our place here in Hampshire faultlessly. It still, after all this time, starts first time on the button. Now, we tucked it away in our storage barn, which is over here, with the intention of putting it through the mill. However, we're pretty desperate for space. We've got quite a few cars that we've decided that we need to do something with, and I think this Mercedes at this price point, which is exactly what we allowed for it, makes a very good project for someone. So, as I mentioned earlier, it is a Mercedes S-Class from around the year 2000. It says S55 AMG, but it is actually an S500 with AMG bits on it, and it's got a huge spec. It is a 5 litre. The badge here, S55, suggests it's the AMG S55. The car, believe it or not, despite the fact it has been sat in our storage barn for a couple of years now, it's always started on the button. And in fact, it was pretty exceptionally clean when we first picked the car up, and actually it's had an easy life in the barn, so there's no damp to deal with, there's no smells of moisture and dryness. I'm going to walk around the car slowly so you can see its condition. It's got to say, it's pretty straight paintwork. If it had some TLC and it was polished to death and detailed up, I'm pretty sure this would look exceptionally lovely if it had the time in. Now, we've had to put the spare wheel on, which is more of a space saver size wheel, because the front tyre was perished and it wouldn't pump back up, but that's the only one. So the wheel itself, which is a full-blown AMG alloy wheel, and all of the wheels are in pretty decent condition, this looks to have a much better tyre on it, but you know, be aware that the car has sat around for a period and maybe there is some perish into tyres. And when we had the car, the only spot of rust on the whole car, which hasn't got any worse, was just this bit down at the bottom, which the S-types do tend to suffer with, and we got a little bit of a scuff which may or may not polish out in the back bumper. But in regards to bodywork, there really isn't much to be too concerned about, other than the fact it is pretty filthy and it would require a significant clean-up. Now, regarding the specification, which is obviously everything with these high-end luxury cars, it has a remarkable spec, and one of the things I've noticed it's got the double glazed windows, which are heavily tinted, and the car does look pretty superb. It isn't any of this stick-on film, it's the real factory thing. In regards to its specification, it's pretty massive in here. Obviously, you can see that it's got both what looks to be heated and ventilating front seats, electric folding mirrors, windows as you would expect, the lovely pleated leather, and this is the leather seats. Now, this driver seat seems to be pushed back. It looks to have electric seats with pulse mode, which is in here, and you can adjust that here. It has the usual high specification. Now, the radio isn't coming on at the moment. It did when we first had it, so I'm hoping that's simple like a fuse. one of the things we also did is they're not very good if you leave them too long. So here's the original key that comes with it. We had to get the EIS unit reprogrammed to work with the key with a new battery, so that's done. And while we're here, let me just stick the key in and just turn it over, and I think you'll immediately hear that she is quite a sound, sweet engine in here. Oh, sorry about that. I think the battery's a bit flat at the moment. It's one of those demos I wish I'd never done. What else? Specification wise, the little touches, you've got footrest in the back. It's the long wheelbase. You've got heated rear seats. In the back of these seats, buried away in here, yes, there's a fridge. Look at that. That really is an area of high specification. Headlining, sunroof, super comfort seats. I'm not entirely sure if these ones recline, but I can see from looking at them here they are heated. Yes, we've got heated and ventilated seats at the back, and maybe actually that is a position to put the seats in. Someone who knows the W200 Mercedes will probably know. It's a pretty stunning purpley amethyst colour, I guess, and with these big alloys, it is quite a sight. Twin exhaust, very clean under the engine bay. In fact, the whole car itself would clean up quite nicely. The last time this car was on the road and MOT looked to be in 2018 and had 95,000 miles on. So actually for one of these S500 engines, you'd almost have to consider that one relatively low mileage. It does come with all of its documentation. Now, if you've seen the key in my hand, there's also there's its logbook. And there's a key card here, which I think is for proximity opening of the doors. The owner's manual, the command system. There's a folder here with what looks to be a little winder for the electric sunroof if it was stuck. And then there's another folder, AMG folder, which has additional paperwork in. It does talk about the S55 AMG here, so you know, maybe I'm mistaken, but certainly looking at those wheels and this spec, it does look very similar to that. And a glove box with a tape on how to talk to your Mercedes, but that's probably a bit old because nobody uses cassettes anymore, do they? Well, here we are. She's in stock, she's available. Obviously, you'd be looking to have this car collected and trailered away because it hasn't been on the road for a few years, albeit it usually starts on the button. It's a very nice, quiet engine, very silky smooth gearbox. I've taken it out of the storage unit, which is over there, and taken it for a quick spin on this private land, and there's no sticky brakes. The air suspension's going up and down like it should. I can't see any reason why this car couldn't be returned to the road for a reasonable budget, and you would have one heck of a car, and I think a bit of a bargain if you have got the ability to do some of this work yourself. There's an absolutely gorgeous long wheelbase W220 S-Class Mercedes, the king of the Mercedes. I have got S500 on the logbook. We do have an AMG badge on the back, so just be aware of what model you're buying. But I don't think you'll be disappointed when you see the condition of the car. It's crying out to return to the road. Well, folks, please get in touch through the usual methods if you'd like to come and have a look at this Mercedes. You'll be welcome to come and view it. Now, obviously, with our clearance cars, they really are sold as seen, so there is no warranty implied with these. They are taken from our barn and offered up to sale as is, but I do have a good feeling about this one being a great project for someone because, well, it's just an epic car. So thank you very much, and thank you for tuning into the video, and I look forward to hearing from you and selling you this lovely old Mercedes from year 2000. Thanks, folks. Danny at Bradley James Classics signing out.